going to be the wonderful Mr. Cat Europe Invitational. I'm Lyrical, joined as well by the lovely, the great, the man, the myth, the legend, the Wonder Man, Superman himself, the greatest of all. The angels come down on high and bless this man's head. Gareth
You
Cast.
have to go all in.
How you doing?
have to go all in now, dude. Oh my god, that's like there are Toby intros,
Right.
And then that was, I don't know, times 10 to the power of 5 million on a Toby intro. What are you doing? What are you doing, Miracle?
I don't know. I just felt like going ham. It happens, though. You know why I felt like going ham? Because we're back, and it's Vega Squadron versus Prodota Gaming, game number 3. No changes to the first 2 picks, Legion Commander and Clockwork, but Prodota Gaming switched it up and taken Earthshaker, with Vega Squadron respond to with a Rubik. Thoughts?
I was so sure that PD would go, like when the Legion Commander was first picked and was the opener for Vega, that pretty much indicates that they kind of want to pick Warlock. So I was very heavily banking on PD picking Clockwork again for 3-3, which is like by far like his best performance this series. The potential to give it to J4 is there, but I would love to see 3-3 on it again. Earthshaker though is the big question mark. Like, why have you picked Earthshaker in the first phase against only a Legion Commander? I'm still unsure. I'm still really unsure why you would go for this and not like a Spirit Breaker that we saw previously from Milan, which was very good. Vega's Rubik reply is pretty obvious, you know, against Earthshaker. Stealing Fissure is amazing. Having things like Cogs is pretty cool as well. Being able to lift Clockwork out of Cogs during laning stage, though, is like Rubik's greatest strength as a laning support.
Mm-hmm.
But Earthshaker is just like a huge question mark for me. Not why pick the hero, but why pick it so early.
Yeah, whenever I see these strange early picks, it feels to me like either A, it's integral to their draft, B, there's like, and they want to make sure that they get it early because it's something that they might have shown in scrims, or B, like there's a couple of other weird picks that are coming later, and they want to throw them off the scent with that, but even that's a little bit weird. I don't know. It's definitely strange. But we'll see what Prodota Gaming want to do with it. I think the Rubik is a great response. You can steal a lot of wonderful things from Earthshaker, most notably Fissure, and obviously a decent amount of Clockwork spells are pretty okay for stealing as well.
So they've picked Earthshaker a couple of times in the past month or so, and it's always gone to Milan. It seems he's the Earthshaker player, and they played it a few times with the Clockwork, a few times with the Darkseer, but it usually seems to be kind of the backup support that's there to help with, you know, Fissures to stop aggressive play coming in from heroes, you know, like Tusk, like Legion, who can run in and cause chaos in the middle of a fight. So it looks like they've been using Earthshaker to, you know, kind of combo up with heroes like Darkseer or Crystal Maiden, but also to give that defensive nature behind you, or initiation tool. Like when you pair Fissure up with Alina, you can Fissure from fog so your opponents don't see you coming, then land your LSA slave combo and actually find relatively simple kills.
Yeah. You know, the other thing that we might end up seeing, this is 2 separate heroes now who have, like, creep manipulation, both Clockwork and Earthshaker. So we've seen a couple of polls that are still available with Earthshaker Fissure, but Pudge now taken, and I'm assuming this is just to counter out both Clockwork and Earthshaker initiations being that defensive support. Is that the main purpose behind this, or are you seeing anything else with the Pudge pick?
Again, very good against Clockwork. Being able to drag him out of Cogs or save, you know, one of your allies from Cogs, like you're saying, is very good. But he's also pretty good against Earthshaker. Like the fact that ES is going to be basically the 4 role here from PD, and Vega Squadron have an earlier, sort of faster tempoed 4 role like the Pudge. ES is going to be hard pressed to find the right defensive positions to be in to stop Pudge from, you know, finding a hook or a rot or a smoke into gank. Because that's what Milan's going to have to do on this Earthshaker, is literally sit behind people and try and defend them.
Right. Yeah, it's an interesting hero in those early levels, because I feel like this is the same thing that I see out of... It's different hero, but in a way Ricky also, where you have like at the 10-minute mark you're like level 3 or 4 and it just sucks. Like your life sucks. Even a tome of knowledge isn't going to pull you back into a level of being relevant. Same with the bounty hunter. And the other problem too is that for Earthshaker, like levels are great, but really you need that blink dagger. You need farm on this hero. So Excuse me, I'm dying.
Another big thing is that Earthshaker is not like a natural Solar Crest buyer. Like Solar Crest has become a very important item, and sure enough, your Clockwork can go for one. But we've seen a lot more sort of Blade Mail, Hand of Midas, Phase Boots, Force Staffs from Clockwork being a lot more useful. But with PD going back for the Warlock, something that I expected them to pick earlier, like as their first phase pick with the Clockwork, adds in some more teamfight control, really great turnaround power. But they are heavily lacking in tower push right now. You know, with only a chaotic offering like Warlock Golem to hit towers, or to tank towers, Lina can hit them. But Vega Squadron answer with even faster tempo, DK, so they can go and push tier 1s when the Lina runs out of lane.
Yeah, and what's the D push right now for Prodota Gaming? They don't have it. And the other thing about Pudge is that he is actually a pretty great, not tower taker, but like threat maker, if that makes sense. Like you stick a Pudge near a tier 1 tower, and if you walk forward, he is going to hook you. So you can't just passively try and push back waves a little bit with Lina, because you're probably going to get hooked. So I think that this comboed together is a really great strat from Vega Squadron. I like this look of the DK and the Pudge a lot.
10 seconds remaining.
Yeah, it's a hell of a lot of pressure. I mean, PD with the all-red draft.
5 seconds
I'm struggling to think of a safe lane carry that kind of brings this all together. Because they need, because I feel like they need someone to go late game with all the fast tempo from Vega, just as some leeway, or they go like all in on safe on early game and have like a Wraith King or something like that.
And if it was to be one of those others, Morphling in some ways sounds like it could be okay, but against the Legion, that's also sketchy, because obviously duel means you're not going to be able to strength form.
Spectre?
Ooh.
Spectre might be good here, actually.
Yeah.
Offers you like split push power. Spectre is very annoying to deal with as like a Legion or a Pudge, because you want to duel or hook and dismember one target, then suddenly there's spectral illusions everywhere, blocking your angles basically.
Yeah. It still scares me a little bit always playing Spectre against Pudge if you are at that like 6 to 8 minute mark and Pudge is roaming around, and then he could get like hooked into telekinesis or something. But I get what you're saying. Do you think he could lane well enough? I don't really know what else there is though. That's the problem.
With a Warlock, I think you're fine. Because you just buy you buy double slippers and they take the Spectre themselves. Okay, that's really sick. Because now they've got all this early game, mid game pressure from DK Legion and Pudge. They've got Rubik to zone out the offlane Clockwork, and Vega have a Spectre to fall back on, and can be the split pusher.
Now feels like they need an AM or a Morphling or something, or they could try and go out all aggro, like you were saying. If they take that though, like. Maybe something like a Razor. You don't like that?
I hate Razor so much. I've seen it picked a lot. Like I've seen Chappie playing it and a bunch of other players. Era's played it a few times. I do not like Razor.
Yeah. The other thing is they banned out Juggernaut, which would have been a great pick for them against the Spectre if they wanted to go early. But
this is super hard.
Yeah.
Like maybe you can go safe lane Ember.
I don't know. I kind of like the idea of going earlier first, something like a Lifestealer, and try and fight against it. But it's
there's a TB. You can go TB.
Okay,
this game.
Yeah, there it is. What a guy! Look at this guy. He knows what's happening. Gareth casts everybody.
I just realized he hadn't been banned, and I'm just like, okay, they need early tempo, tower hitter, some team fight against a Radiance carrying Spectre. You've got Reflection. That's like perfect.
I think the other thing too is that Prodota Gaming want to win, and so they just pick Terrorblade.
You are also correct. Very true. Very true.
That's the key to winning, everybody. Take this hero. He's absurd. And honestly, the main tool that they have to deal with this is Legion Commander Overwhelming Odds, which is great. But you also have a lot of heroes that can interrupt stuff that's going on with Legion Commander. You've got a Clockwork to hook in on the back lines, because you know that's going to be the main source of damage against the Terrorblade to kill off those illusions. And with just one source of it, really, that to me feels like it could be in some trouble if this Terrorblade gets out of control.
Yeah, like they do have level 2 Dragonite ulti. And
okay, fair enough.
Like Overwhelming Odds and Fadebolt are okay. I'm wondering though if the Spectre doesn't go Radiance this game and actually goes for more of the earn Blade Mail Manta build that we started seeing from Arteezy and a few other players at the Major. So you go for more of an early game, I'm going to fight you and I'm going to be super tanky instead of trying to kind of delay the game until Radiance and then winning. because then it would be meeting PD kind of head on head, and you wouldn't have any weaknesses in the early game.
Yeah, I guess that's what I should have been talking about too, was when I was talking about Terrorblade, it was more like when you get 6 slotted, they don't have a great way to deal with those illusions. And in my eyes, that does signal more towards a Vega Squadron wanting to hit an earlier timing with Spectre, as opposed to being like, the be-all end-all late game carry. I feel like Spectre has really transformed into more of a, you hit a strong timing with your level 20 and 25 talents, which are, all of that strength and all of that HP. As Silent will probably be able to get a D ward here on the Observer ward, as he did spot Milan heading up top.
Everyone pops each other's smokes, and they're just like smokes dissipating across the map everywhere.
Yeah. But early movement out, some wards were placed. Sioma was able to get one in towards mid, signaling that he might be looking for a couple hooks onto Lina. And I have to say, this at some point this game I'm going to call hook shot, and at some point I'm going to call hook shot hook. So deal with it, everybody. Deal with it.
I mean, I do that even when there's like no clock in the game. I call hook shot, and the other way around, when there's no punch in the game, I call hook shot hook. It happens, Sometimes your tongue says something you didn't want to come out of your brain.
Absolutely.
They found the D ward. That's very nice.
Yeah.
Instant gold gratification for the Spectre.
And Silent is just going to sit silent as he has to give up the gold that he so lovingly put into his Spectre. It hurts. The dream. Oh, here we go, though. This is what I was talking about. We got the creep manipulation time. And this creep wave is going to take a while before it gets to Spectre and Rubik.
Oh, with Earthshaker, Fisher, and Cogs?
Yep.
Okay, and using the Shrine. Oh, this is so disgusting.
Yeah, this is pretty nice.
The whole creep wave if he does it now. He's holding... Well, they're waiting for the next Fisher.
They might.
Here they are. Oh, no?
Yeah, they're going to Cogs it and then go again. All right, so maybe that's why they take the Earthshaker Clockwork in the first two.
Okay. Can you still do this pull here?
I think you can. I'm pretty sure that you can.
Okay.
Because he's still sticking around this area, and I don't imagine that they're going to be able to like find much kills in this lane. But maybe he's not. There's also the Pudge sticking around as well. And Milan, pump faking, blocks off the thing. Okay.
Question mark?
Oh, look.
Then the ward comes out from Pudge to block the camp.
Yeah, he knows. He knows. He can if he wants to. Oh, I mean, Earthshaker doesn't have a tango.
Earthshaker doesn't have a tango, but he has a sentry there. This is a really awkward face-off. Bottom lane, Afterlife's in a little bit of trouble, though. Got to pop the meta, but they won't be able to kill him.
No. Still surviving. Interesting that he didn't end up taking the press the attack here. He wants to try and contest Garter a little bit more, but that does take off Shadow Word, so causing some issues.
At this point, you should only have your camera on the Pudge and the Earthshaker, just watching each other from across the cliff.
Yeah.
Oh, Pudge is left now. How sad.
And he's going to run at Kaiser a little bit here. It just has that rot level 1, so that's fine and dandy. But you can see that this is actually really hurting Milan a lot. Like, he wanted to get in there and get those pulls off, I believe, which is why that camp was blocked off. And now it's going to sort of be forced into a different route, although they might be able to run down Silent here, or at least come and contest for the rune. Yeah.
Yeah, good Fisher. But Milan's just being annoying at this point.
And Sioma, recognizing that the Earthshaker was going to go and do that, goes, picks up the bounty rune from him, and now they're not going to be able to make anything happen onto G either. Can he block off the creep? Or the courier? No, doesn't want to go for it.
He's gonna... Milan, really. He's fast as well with those brown boots.
No. Afterlife in the bottom lane still does not have press the attack and takes a lot of damage from this. So brought down fairly low, has the shrine to fall back on. But, oh, they have Milan heading over. He wants to go for it. Fisher not quite there. Oh, it's so close.
You really wanted that to happen.
I wanted it to happen.
Fisher. Stupid Legion Commander hero. But yeah, like, this is pretty natural just to go for 1-0-1. Milan's being chased down by Pudge, and this time he's in the rot, so getting slowed. But with the boots, he's okay to get away. Yeah. But yeah, I was... Like the previous game when we saw Legion Commander hold on for press attack at level 3, that was to get away from open wounds. Here, I feel like Afterlife is fine, just going for like more nuke damage to kill off creeps, get CS. But
Okay.
also, you want to keep the life total of the TB down, because once you put him in this region, you can start trading and walking into the enemy creep wave and getting procs from your passive, and actually look for more damage.
Yeah. Oh, it's true. I always just think it's good to be able to take off Shadow Word, but if you can force them to use it defensively on Terrorblade, then that's even more value, I guess. So, good stuff there. Keeps on spamming that out, and quick little salve will be popped to keep the Terrorblade alive and keep him healthy and topped off. As top lane pulls come out, they're able to push this back, and Earthshaker continuing to be a butt against Afterlife.
Both teams a little more timid than the previous two games.
Yeah.
Like the first two games, just all out, non-stop action, brawling everywhere, fights in the jungles at rune spots. But I guess Earthshaker as well. I mean, Earthshaker is not that much of an aggressive support, but he kind of also negates Pudge in the kind of reverse of what I was saying about Pudge being well against Earthshaker. If Earthshaker does find the correct positions to sit in, he can find kills.
Yeah, and this Afterlife catch is going to be pretty nice. He's going to have to tango through, but First Blood is going to be on to Silent in the top lane. 3-3 picks it up, so the Fissure Block not enough to keep Afterlife low and killed off. That's also
I'm
meta
not sure
down.
how Silent dies there.
Yeah.
Like, they both have boots, Silent has telekinesis. He must have been, like, caught from fog or something. Like, 3-3 must have walked around the trees and just randomly appeared.
Yeah. Maybe a little bit of fogging going on as well. 3-3, I don't believe he goes down here to Rio. Wasn't able to change them and find that kill. Now Garter Metamorphosis is about to wear off, as you do have the wraparound that's coming in from the Pudge and the Rubik. They want to try and put the pressure on. They have Hook available, and Garter very much dead at this point in time, as the Reflection will not be enough to save his life, I do not believe.
Kind of sad they don't have duel there, but Afterlife still reaching level 5 after this
Radiant's
creep
top
wave.
tower is under
Be
attack.
very thankful for that kill over on the TV. How's the DK doing mid though against Alina? Actually, surprisingly well. Alina's been known to be like a lane dominator, spamming a Dragon Slave, controlling waves. But it looks like G with a Quelling Blade has been able enough to farm under his tower to kind of match up with Alina and her CS.
Yeah, I think a lot of this...
And then he misses two under the tower as I say it.
Right. I think a lot of it too has to do with, like, the last time that we saw DK versus Lina was a while ago, it feels like. But the changes in how much extra regen he gets from Dragon Blood, it feels like with the Quelling Blade, he can kind of just sit there and tank the ganks until Laguna Blade comes out. And then Milan will actually be the one to pick up the kill. That's great for him. That's going to be his Arcanes.
Yeah, that's really big. I mean, at this point, you might even consider rushing Blink and skipping Arcanes, depending on like what you exactly want to do with your team. Like, if you're expecting a lot of push to come in from Vega, that Naked Blink could be incredible. But I think Vega at this point just want to kind of sit back, relax, and farm, so Arcane's probably more likely.
And he actually does have... Oh, the Haunt comes out. That might signal where everybody is, but gonna go in on to Kaiser. Now Hook off the mark. Sioma not able to find that one. The Light Strike Array also off the mark, but Milan comes in, separates the rest of the game, and it does look like Vega will not be able to punish too hard. Well, Silent, he's still chasing, and actually did find that kill onto Sioma while that was happening, so everybody gets out except for the Pudge, who ends up dying, and now Spectre ends up falling as well to 3-3, who just chased him down. You seem perplexed. Oh, Gareth, did I lose you? Gareth?
Oh, hello.
Hi.
Yes. Sorry, my mic for some reason turned itself off, and I had to turn it back on again. Yeah, that was really confusing. It's like 3 fights on 3 different lanes at the same time. Legion and TB were battling it out. It was very close between them, but in the end, TB shoved him back. The Clockwork finding the Spectre as she's trying to re-engage in the fight and run away from that battle mid was absolutely huge for them. Like, all he throws is a hook shot, gets a kill on the Spectre. It's like beautiful for that guy.
Yeah.
But that was it was a dive too deep, and the fact that Spectral Haunt came out as Pudge wanted to get the hook after telekinesis really screwed up their plans, because it was meant to be like a quick and easy kill, then maybe a retreat, and use Haunt for just the one kill on a core hero. But they got sucked in, diving in behind the tier 1, get caught by TPs, Milan's Fissure. Everything just gets so chaotic.
Yeah. Oh, and I feel like it was also in a way somewhat needed, because you imagine if Spectre gets into this urn before big ultis start coming online for Pro Dota, you are going to start, like, you know, building up a lot of kills early and often, and maybe you get into a snowball state with the Spectre where you get into a bunch of items. It's still going to have a nice timing here because, like, Warlock ulti is only level 3 at this point at 8 minutes in. Milan has got arcane boots, but he's not really able to pressure the lane super heavily. So I feel like maybe there's going to be this timing where Vega Squadron can keep making things happen and take down a couple more of these towers.
Yeah, especially with Horn coming back up in like 10 seconds time. They can definitely utilize this dragon form, you know, coming off cooldown exactly after it. Well, 3-3 and Silent fighting up at top.
And they're going to be able to get that jump away, but, oh, staying alive barely. He does find that kill. 3-3 gets the punch down. And
This
thinking about going.
3-3.
Ooh.
He's so good.
Yeah. He is.
Still, though, this Lina is probably the scariest on the Radiant team. 4,000 net worth, heading into the Bloodstone. Yet to get level 10, so we'll see exactly what you aim for. But the other day, we saw Alina go for the cast range talent, and then buy Ether Lens on top of Boots of Travel and Bloodstone. And you were basically casting LSA as if it was torrent range. Like,
oh my god.
Casting it for like a full screen away. It was ridiculous.
That's pretty great.
So, I'd love to see him go for something like that, but more likely than not, it'll just be the normal, you know, Bloodstone Yules, Shadow Blade, maybe a Shiver's Guard or something like that.
Afterlife, in the meantime, getting ran down in the top lane, does get that wand charge off before the last right click came through from Terrorblade to kill him. And, you know, I said around that 10-minute mark, you're going to be seeing the levels on this Pro Dota team maybe a little bit struggling, and they are still down there, just hitting level 3 and level 4. Granted, you're also not seeing tremendous levels out of Vega, but I feel like Vega's supports can do more at these earlier levels than you see out of the Pro Dota team.
They still... I still feel they need to get more, though. Like, Pudge being level 4.5, he needs 6. But it's the Rubik, who's level 3 with only brown boots, I feel is the real sufferer here.
Okay.
I mean, I guess he's not suffering as much as the Warlock, who literally only has brown boots, but...
Sioma caught, but they're now in here with 3-3. They want to try and turn this back around. The hook comes out, which means he gets the damage he needs. But still, well, TPing away. Is it going to be enough? He actually gets out.
Way.
Oh, the fissure from Milan. This Earthshaker, a thorn in their side.
What? Okay, 1,200 HP, 5 armor, and a poor man's shield, and his Clockwork is apparently invulnerable. No one can kill 3-3's Clockwork. He just goes in and doesn't die. He's 4-0-0, Lyrical.
Yeah.
He has 4 kills to his name. How does this guy do it?
He's a player.
How is he so good?
He is a player. Every game he's been a player on it, doing it over and over. And now I'm, like, kind of wondering also, over the next couple of minutes, like, you have the urn on Spectre, but you really haven't been involved in that many kills. You've died once. Is this a point where maybe Pro Dota can start pressuring her and shutting down her farm a little bit further than it already has been?
I think TB wants to get the tier 1 bot lane first, but yeah, I agree. Would probably like transition straight up towards top lane to pressure the Spectre and take the tier 1 there as well. But like, who do you send with him? I don't think you want to send the Lina up there just yet. She's pretty happy just farming mid and maybe looking for kills on the DK when he oversteps. Warlock's trying to get level 6 mid as well. It's just like a rough, not a rough point in the game, but an awkward one for when you have certain heroes like want to farm and want to get level 6s right now, so they want the like space away from their core heroes, you know, farming jungle or just sitting in lane leeching experience. So you don't really want to group as 5 for the next maybe 2 or 3 minutes.
Yeah.
But then when you do, you go all in. Like, you group out, you go as 5, you look for a kill, you get a tower, then you go to another lane and do the like domino effect across the map.
Right. Man, I gotta say, this Pro Dota team, it's been really impressing me. And I came into this game really expecting Vega Squadron to stomp based off their, you know, play at Dream League, based off of the other qualifying events I'd seen them in, but you know, Pro Dota showing they're nothing to be messed around with too much as Kaiser taking some damage with the hook shot comes in. 3-3 to save the day. Laguna Blade as well, and can they find that kill? Oh, hook is off the mark.
Oh, no.
Woo, baby.
No. He gets pushed by the cog through the hook animation, so it lands on a creep instead of the DK or the Clockwork. That's pretty sad for the Pudge. But still, it's 3-3 making things happen again. He is the active player on the team, just constantly enabling the rest of his teammates to find kills. And Lina, finding more experience now, hits level 11, is very close to Bloodstone. And Dragonite's falling further and further behind. No armor, nothing big just yet. The tier 1's still standing on his opponent's lane.
Oh, and I like this too. They do the pull with the Earthshaker that's going to end up giving them kind of a double wave coming in, I believe, since it didn't get fully cleared off. So they're going to have a lot of creeps under tower. There's this whole creep wave and a half, plus another one coming behind it, and they're going to be able to push down this tower incredibly quickly.
And Silent is still level 4. Like,
Yeah.
he's just going to have to TP away from here. There's nothing he can do, surely. Surely they don't want to fight this.
Oh, there's overwhelming odds. They think that the creep wave is dead, but there's another one that's coming in now, and they don't have an answer. Afterlife gonna get dove under tower. Oh no. I don't know if they thought that they couldn't push because there wasn't a creep wave or what exactly happened there. But whatever ended up being the case, they get punished heavily.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
They do get the tier 1 mid, and Pudge is lurking behind them.
Oh, there's the hook, though. It connects onto the DK. He didn't get the cogs off yet with the stun, but they were able to still find the stun with the Light Strike Array. They're trying to run him down. The hook is going to connect, keeping G alive for the moment, but 3-3 still chasing. Battery Assault, push back. We'll get a nice stun. Sioma thinking about going into this. Kill comes out as Kaiser finds him.
Yeah. Well played by Sioma there. He was playing aggressively, looking for a kill with G baiting, and then the tables turned when 3 heroes and a great hookshot again from 3-3 landed onto the DK. But then he was in the right position to save him and actually drag him out with a defensive hook to allow the DK to just kind of wander off. And then you just see him like throw his body into the meat grinder and just give his life to make sure that they can't follow or track down the Dragonite as he was running away.
Yeah.
But it's like a tier 1 for tier 1 trade, right? Mid for top.
Yeah. Oh, it's
in the
true.
grand scheme of things.
I still am seeing the net worth lead, though, favoring heavily pro Dota right now. Almost 4,000 net worth and experience lead. And I think it's a lot of these just pickoffs that you've seen. 9-1 so far, and Clockwork involved in 7 of those 9 kills.
Yeah. Like, how sick is that, honestly?
I see why they first phase it.
Yep. 14-minute Hand of Midas. Yeah, we came across this when... Oh, it was Cloud9. The first game that Cloud9 played, I think it was against Effect, but Effect first banned, like literally first banned Clockwork. Not just first phase, but the first hero to be banned in the game was Clockwork. And Trent and I were wondering, why? Why have you done this?
Oh, no. He caught one, pushed back the other. This is why you do it. Oh, the hook connected on a Spectre Illusion, and now the Echo Slam comes out. That's going to be a hell of a lot of damage. Can they kill him off G? So low gets the Armwood toggle, though. They're able to turn this back around. There's the Light Strike Array. Can they kill off this Dragonite? They have finally brought him down, but they lost the Clockwork and the Earthshaker in turn, and now the Rio trying to get in there and maybe find a kill on a Kaiser. They pop the Illusion Rune, might be enough to force them back. He'd already used the Katic offering. The heal comes out on a Kaiser, still keeping him alive, and the chase is coming. They have another Urn Charge, lay down on a Kaiser, and they find that kill. Now turn it and gonna be able to bring down the Warlock to boot.
Wow. Talk about unkillable. The armor toggle from DK at the sort of midpoint, turning point of that team fight to make sure he stayed alive a little bit longer
Is under attack.
really held Alina there, then caused this entire dragged out chase scene where you've got Rubik, Legion, and Spectre, the 3 big survivors in the fight, who honestly were so tanky or well positioned in Silent's case, stealing the Shadow Word to heal himself up and run around, were able just to walk back in. Spectre barely got tickled through a couple of daggers, through a couple of Urn Charges, but apart from that was, unweathered by the attack of PD. And PD definitely were the instigators, hookshotting in, looking for that go, get 1 kill, and even with the cogs, like you said, in the middle of the fight, spreading it so nicely, it's just Vega were able to stand their ground and not really care.
And it feels like if you take that fight with Terrorblade there with you, it looks so different. And that's the power that the Spectre brings to the table, the ability to haunt into the middle of a fight and, actually be involved. 4-on-5 instead of 5-on-5.
Like if TB is there, or if TB had a mode of transport to get to mid lane at that point, Vega would just literally disengage as quickly as possible. They just wouldn't take the fight.
Right.
Or they'd lose maybe 1 hero, they'd lose the Pudge and disengage and run away. But yeah, you're right. The fact TB wasn't there meant that it was just this steamroller with the final 3 heroes remaining.
Well, a new state of the game, we could say. It's still Prodota in the lead, but Vega Squadron's showing signs of life and building towards that Radiance on the Spectre. It can make all the difference in the world. 3,100 gold in the bank right now. If you're Prodota, are you starting to sweat a little bit?
Oh yeah. I'm like profusely sweating right now because there's Blink Legion, there's Armlet nearly Shadowblade DK, and there's a Spectre with Relic nearly in a bag like you just mentioned. I am very worried because I have Alina with a Bloodstone. You know, no Yules, no setup, no initiation. Clockwork has a Hand of Midas. He can go for the early aggression Blade Mail or Force Staff play. So you have 2 heroes that are basically trying to buy time for themselves and not go and fight early.
Yeah.
Whereas if they had those early aggressive items, maybe they would have been able to steamroll the team fight before.
Well, and I guess the other thing that you do have that's nice for Prodota is Earthshaker with the Blink Dagger, as well as J4, you know, having that Golem off cooldown now. They're looking to make something else happen, and with the Terrorblade this time, maybe they've solved some of their problems from the past. Ooh.
But they have the Legion Blink Duel now to catch Warlock or catch Earthshaker in the back. This smoke play's really nice, though.
Yeah, and they found the Spectre. This is great. They need to bring him down. Stun comes out. Low. Can he kill him? Yes, they do. Laguna Blade down. Oh, still Fissure. All right, Silent. Time to make the plays happen.
Middle tower is under attack.
How much did Spectre lose there? Like 300 gold? 240.
Yeah.
Tower has fallen.
So she would have Relic now, pretty much.
Okay. Ooh, there's a nice little creep camp here as well. A stack that they're going to steal away. That's always nice to help build up that net worth lead. And they're actually, Vega right now, going for the hook a little bit off the mark, but Milan has now scouted him out as well. Afterlife Silent in the area. They still have Fissure available if they want to use it, and Prodota wisely going to back out after stealing that camp.
With Spectre respawning in like 3 or 4 seconds when they started turning and running. If you get sucked into a team fight that like draws out even a little bit, the Spectre respawns, haunts in, and then you're in a world of hurt.
Yeah.
But the Spectre will be able to just go back to her lane, farm Relic, which is done now, then just a recipe away from the full Radiance.
Milan, he's setting up top to try and make something happen here, possibly. Like, he's got Echo Slam available, and he keeps Enchant Toteming. I don't know if this is the play, though, particularly with Rubik right behind, ready to Fissure. Yeah, and he backs out.
That's right. Rubik still has Fissure.
Yeah. Looks
Like, might... Okay, never mind. If they were able to land a dagger on him, I think Milan dies there.
Yeah.
This is one of those weird games, though, where Roshan isn't as important for either team. Like, it would be nice to throw onto, you know, your Legion Commander or your Spectre or something. Maybe onto your TB or your Elena. But it's not, like, the be-all and end-all. Like, it won't be one of the focal points like we saw in game number 1 and game number 2.
Right.
This is much more about, like, lane farming, pressuring lanes, making sure you kill off towers. But keeping your supports farmed as well is, like, mega important when you've got heroes like TB and Spectre on the map. Which is why we used to see a lot of supports go for Midases, and at the start of the Kiev Major like group stage, teams were going like 3 or 4 Midases on their team.
Right.
But then you start getting pressured by, you know, one team fight loss is a game loss, pretty much.
Yeah.
But like allowing Rubik to get a 4 staff now would be huge for them.
Oh, totally. And you want to be able to get into that item. It's like you need them across the board for Vega Squadron really to deal with this clockwork. And even when they did have him in the last game, it didn't end up making the biggest difference. But no forces online means he's going to cause issues the entire game long. Spectre has the relic done, very close to Radiance. They're looking to find a pickoff here, but everybody is just in protect Spectre mode.
Yeah, Vega, well, they'll just give the Pudge kill. Like, Pudge will at some point just like walk across, find them, and die. But Spectre will live.
Yeah.
Like, look where Sioma's standing right now. That's what he's doing right now. He's standing there scouting, but he's also like giving himself to the smoke play.
Yeah. Won't end up catching him as Terrorblade is pushing bottom. Now they're waiting to see if there is going to be a contest. Clearly there will not be. Vega Squadron do not want to take this fight until Radiance is online. Like, have you ever seen a Spectre protected this much? 3 heroes literally standing next to the Rio, not letting anything happen.
Make sure she finishes Radiance. That is like objective 1. Finish Radiance on Spectre, win game.
Yeah. Well, in the meantime, a little bit of pressure mounted up towards the high ground, deals a little bit of damage to the tower. Now they back out and are going to head, it looks like, towards top lane to mount the next aggressive.
Sioma, TP out. You don't belong here anymore. Look at them, they're still on the Spectre. Oh, she's got the relic now. She's got the oh my god, recipe.
There it is.
Too many R words, Lyrical.
R, matey.
Okay.
Moving in towards the Roche, but Milan with the Invis rune might have an answer for this. If they can find a good initiation here, there's a Shadow Blade coming out from G. He's going to scout out Afterlife. A little bit of a puckering moment. Echo Slam. Just going to drop it right away. And there's going to be the Golem as well. He catches onto TB. Garter needs to get off that Sunder, but no! The duel came out. They're going to bring him down low. They have been able to kill off one. G dropping low as well, but he is going to get the armlet toggle off yet again. Tried to brought down, but isn't going to be enough. That's 3 dead for Vega Squadron, and maybe going to end up being 4. Afterlife does finish the kill, but the 2 surviving members are Clockwork and Legion.
And the Golem. Don't forget the War Golem, Lyrical. Very important there in that team fight. Got dropped on the heads of 3 people, then started punching people. Now it's dewarding. Look, dude, this Golem is valuable as fuck.
Oh, you love it. You love to see that.
Is Legion dying now? Legion dies here, I think.
Yeah. Yep.
Kaiser?
That's a light strike ray if I ever saw one. Oh, the plays. The plays. Not enough plays.
Got him.
All right, well, Prodota Gaming made a really good decision there to go onto the Rubik first, taking him out of the fight, a great fissure as well, and then they end up taking it. How did Spectre die so quickly?
Just blasted by people. Like, 3-3's Clockworkers, like, in the back, cogs people up, LSAs flying through like 2 or 3, a couple of, like, 3-man Dragon Slaves. Punch just takes one to the face with a Laguna Blade as well.
Yeah. And that was with Garter dying without doing a whole heck of a lot. I mean, he got his reflection off, which was solid, but the rest of it was kind of questionable. And now, moving in towards Roshan, this is a big moment.
Yeah, with 2 heroes dead for another 10 seconds from now, why not? But a lot was like thrown onto Garter, right? You know, they had to duel him to make sure he died. They had to dismember and hook, so a lot of that damage and actual lockdown was gone before the Lina even arrived at the team fight.
Yeah.
So Kaiser just had this like free reign from low ground, peppering in the Lina shots.
And now maybe time to mount the offensive onto the next tier 2 tower. Are they under any pressure to try and end the game on the earlier side and maybe try and make a play towards high ground, or do you think they're still comfortable waiting on that, even without the Aegis, even with the Aegis?
I feel like if you've got Aegis on TB, why not? Like, why not pressure? Like, do structural damage, force a fight, force buybacks.
Clockwork 3-3, he's in trouble. They have the Spectre Haunt coming in, and that is going to be a kill. Winner duel damage going into the favor of Legion Commander. Milan ends up falling, but still a lot of damage out onto that Lina. She dies, as too does that. Oh my god, he actually got the Sunder off. Finds a double kill, and Terrorblade able to walk away from this one. Meanwhile, Milan getting chased down by the Spectre, but the fissure will keep him back for the moment as Garter still chases. Can Milan get out of here? He has the Echo Slam to turn. He actually went for the backpack trip, trying to take away, but not going to happen. And another Sunder comes out, keeping Garter alive and healthy. Turns to fight now, but he might just end up being kited around. I don't know if he's going to be able to run these guys down here. G barely able to make his way out. The armlet toggle is going to keep him alive, and Garter has to back.
Yeah, he has a lot of Metamorphosis left in the duration, and the rest of his team's coming back alive. You know, Lina with the Bloodstone, pretty low respawn time over on her. But taking a fight there is fine for PD as long as you do it, you know, cohesively with TB at the front lines, people waiting to counter-initiate. But 3-3 went for a very aggressive movement forward, looking for, you know, a pick on someone. Because if they find that pick there, it's like guaranteed racks or a guaranteed buyback, right? So he went for the aggressive, kind of high-risk, high-reward play, and he got caught really hard, being punished by kind of sitting in the middle of 3 enemy heroes as they converged around him. Yeah. So he didn't have like an avenue of escape, and the rest of his team just gets sucked in. They get sucked into this like whirlwind of destruction that's being, you know, overwhelming odds and dueled, and Spectre haunts in. But Spectre's caught top.
Yeah, they're going to try and run through. Can they get out of there in time? Force staff chase. Not going to be there enough as Garter actually takes out Silent. No, they found the Spectre. She's TPing away. Do they have vision? Echo Slam does the damage, but not the stun.
Oh, not close enough for the Aftershock passive to hit. That's really sad.
Wow.
Spectre lives. Yeah, Silent was the one that got caught, but that's relatively meaningless. He's alive in 15 seconds to defend high ground anyway.
Garter doesn't have Metamorphosis until that point anyways. They hook in the illusion, kill it off as Garter is going to start to press up towards high ground.
They have Chaotic Offering up again now, and hook shot in 12
Force
seconds.
Staff? Oh, nice play, but they managed to hook out G. Nonetheless, as Milan pops forward with the dust, and tower's still falling down. Sioma has been on point with these hooks, keeping his cores alive whenever possible.
Silent needs some big steals here, and stealing Rocket Flare and dying straight after is not a big steal.
Oh, they've got that in Billion. He has to get the Sunder off. Garter turns to fight, and now it is truly hell as Garter takes down another mega kill streak for him, turning onto the Rio, trying to run out and away, but 3-3's got him caught in the hands. Can they find that kill? They will. Laguna Blade comes out and takes him down. Tier 3 now to fall, and Afterlife can only look on as there is nothing left for them to do to stop this push.
I think they go in. Oh, that's a nice reflection. Guards are pushing up even further forward because they were waiting for Overwhelming Odds to come off cooldown so they can break down Garter's HP with the illusions and the creep wave near him. Then try with the stun from DK to actually kill him because I think they had enough damage. But with the reflection, they force back the Legion so she couldn't use Overwhelming Odds and Blink Duel.
Oh,
that's a nice hook, though.
That is a good hook, although they're able to get the Yule Scepter lift off. Sunder as well. Afterlife has to run away now. Another fissure could be coming out if anybody from Vega steps too far forward. That's just a Dragon Slave stolen. Garter's still alive, and the fissure will ensure their retreat. 4 staffs to keep them away. Prodota Gaming, they're just going to back out happy as clams.
This reflection is so good, honestly. Like, Radiance Burn, Null Field. You got the slow from the DK when he's in dragon form, and some cool things you get out from it.
You know, I think that we could probably sum this up as Terrorblade is a very good hero.
Yeah, do you want to write a book?
Yeah.
Just named that? And on every page it just says TB equals good?
Yeah, I like it. You want to win
We
game
can make a lot
pickup.
of money.
And like the thing, I really like what you said about the reflection, because this hero, the reason that I feel like part of the reason he's so good is because you don't lose team fight by having strong high ground push that you don't have to commit a lot to necessarily either. Like there's just so many good things about him, and giving him a slow in the midst of like having Clockwork running around and all that stuff, it's just too much.
Yeah, like he walks up high ground, and sometimes we've seen teams utilize, Phoenix Sunray to keep him healed on high ground.
Yeah.
Other teams use like Venge Swap to get him out of sticky situations, but in this game, he's just using Reflection, turning, and then someone force staffs him out. Maybe a Shadow Word is thrown on him, but there hasn't been that much commitment to like enabling this TB. It has just been the TB show.
Yeah. Well, you've got a lot of ways to disengage at this point for Prodota, but they do still need to defend their towers if the pressure comes from Vega. Shadowblade to DK. They're sort of skulking around the jungle, but it does not look like Prodota have any interest in making that move. They're hanging out, taking down shrines, and soon to push down bottom lane.
Yeah, look at the dire vision. This is why they've moved here. They've got wards up. There's a tier 1 to take. They'll clear that up nicely, but they have very little vision in the sort of bottom right, corner of the map, or even the right-hand third of the map. One ward is up on this nice kind of little hilltop here, but outside of that, they're not going to see any. Oh, yeah, they didn't see that smoke. They definitely did not see that smoke.
Well, it's going to have to be a big one from Vega. Sioma's wrapping around, but 3-3 still unrevealed. When his smoke breaks, he'll know that the Pudge is wrapping around for a patch or a kill. They do spot out the Pudge now, all alone. They can just back out and kill him off, and there is nothing anybody from Vega can do to stop that.
Oh, DK's caught.
Oh no, and now the Light Strike, right? He does get off the BKB. The Haunt comes out as well. The Golem, they get the Echo Slam down onto one though, and that is going to be Spectre caught and possibly killed off as well. The duel is there on Terrorblade, but that's one you're gonna lose. 3 are dead. And now, not a whole hell of a lot that they can do to stop this. The Sunder on his teammate to help keep him alive. Garter turns to fight, takes down G, and soon to take down the game as well. Good game gets called as Prodota win it in 3.
Such a cute little move there as well, as Garter was dropping lower and lower. Like he pops his reflection and BKB before the duel lands. Then during the duel, he's got this team behind him. who are all full HP. He runs back up the hill and he's like, okay, guys, who do I sunder? Do I sunder you? Do I sunder you? In the end, just chooses the leaner and is like, yeah, I'm taking your HP. I'm running in. I'm the TB. I am going to destroy this game. And PD did it.
Yeah. Great play. I have a pop-up that apparently KP and SC won their Battle Cup, so congratulations. But it's still going to be Prodota who move on into the upper bracket, and they are going to face off against the X-Team Comanche. You did get a chance to see those games the other day. How did you feel about their play?
Messy CIS Dota, I think, is the easiest way to kind of describe what was going on there. Well, it was a 2-1 against Spirit, wasn't it? Yeah, I was like impressed with their drafting, but some of their plays seemed kind of wonky.
All right, so you're feeling like Prodota has a pretty good chance against them then?
I feel like PD will match up very nicely against them.
Okay, I like it.
Like this series against Vega definitely showed a lot of PD's weaknesses in their drafts and like getting caught in a corner to become one-dimensional. Like was it game number 1 or was it game number 2? Where they had the Juggernaut.
It was game number 1.
Okay, but then they came back with some really nicely executed drafts later on.
Okay. Well, I am very excited to see what happens. That game is going to be taking place 20 hours and 40 minutes from right now, if I am not mistaken, 1400 CEST. So be sure to tune back in. It's going to be myself and the wonderful, the great, the on-high person here. I'm just going to stop.
Glorious.
Yeah, glorious. I like it. Glorious Garrett. That's what we're going to call you. He is going to be back again as well as myself. So be sure to tune in on this channel, same time, same place. Any final words before we sign off for this last time?
Goodbye.
All right, goodbye. Now, I'm excited to see it, and we'll be back again at that point in time. Is it okay to shill for a second on this channel?
Sure.
Okay.
You have my blessing.
Thank you. There's an amateur Dota 2 tournament going on.
What are you shilling? What are you shilling?
There's an amateur Dota 2 tournament